Everybody, we are live again. Donnie Samir Search for Huru, and we have the brother Kala Genesis on with us again. You know, it's always a pleasure to have brother Kala on. And today we're going to be, or this evening, we're going to be discussing is Black America capable of governing ourselves? Of course, whenever we speak on building our own Black nation, our own Black state, we always have the doubting people, the people who doubt that can happen, always using the same excuses. Look at Liberia, look at Zimbabwe, look at a lot of these African nations which are dependent on aid and whatnot. But Brother Genesis is going to break down how we could build our own nation and govern ourselves and flourish. And one of the examples that we keep, I know we keep bringing it up, is Liberia before Samuel Doe messed it up. So, Caligenesis, thank you once again for having us on, for coming on.
It was a pleasure. Yeah, my cough is not that bad tonight, folks. Okay. Anyway, notice that when the verbiage when we talk about Black people in America, and particularly African Americans, they only want to praise Black people when you're doing something negative against another Black person, or they're trying to make the divide and conquer thing. On one hand, they'll say, and I'm gonna segue into where I'm going. You'll see in a second where I'm going with this. On one hand, Nigerians are graduating doctors and all this stuff like that. They'll say all this stuff about Nigeria. Oh, look at so educated, the top educated immigrants, all this stuff. Now, if you feel a little churning in your stomach and a check in your spirit, you are not alone, because they doing that, right? For one, they know that there's a concerted effort to discredit the descendant of slaves. Make no mistake, the same people that brought us here, oppressed us, play on our psychological insecurities. In other words, basically, it's telling you that you ought to be grateful for what they did to us for hundreds of years. And the situation we find ourselves in America. And now, if you don't know your history, if you think that you're a second-class citizen, if you think that white people are superior, then America's fine to you. And we have nothing else to talk about. Because there's a lot of Black people who believe that. We went into the institutions, and we're always complaining about the racism, the discrimination, all the stuff like that. Nothing ever comes about building your own. You know what I'm saying? Building your own institutions, building your own anything. Then what gets me is when you have those Black people who say, let's build our own businesses, build it. They say, well, okay, I agree with you. Do you understand that you practicing nationalism, Black nationalism? No, I'm not a nationalist. I'm American. No, well, okay. If you're an American, right? If you're an American, why are you trying to build a so-called Black nation, a Black community inside of America? You know what I'm saying? America passed the Civil Rights Act. Black people do not have to live in any concentrated areas. So they chose to move into white areas, mixed areas, and everything. The rest is history. Now you want to come back after they brought millions of here, because they were not going to let you benefit from the bounty of America. That wasn't part of the plan. They gave you civil rights and everything, but they didn't give you any tools or anything to access it. And sure, you don't benefit from it. They brought in Chinese, you know what I'm saying, by the millions. They brought people from the Caribbean by the millions, and they brought people from Africa. They brought in anything to make sure the slave descendant in America stays exactly where he is, at the bottom of civilization, to discredit us. It is no accident that no matter how well that we know we have nice Black communities, there's nice Black communities in America, well kept lawns, all the stuff we know all about, right?
Right.
Sees us as ghetto, as ignorant, as you have to ask a question to a Nigerian sister. What do you think about African American? Automatically, the references is always uneducated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We even expect that to be said. We're even ashamed to embrace. One thing I do like about Professor Davis, he does laud the success of Black America. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? My point is this: when you are a minority group, right, and you're in captivity, you are what your master says you are, and people look at you the way your master says you are. If you're a clown, a buffoon, an idiot, and everything, you're going to be that to the day you're born, to the day you die, because you are in captivity. You have not made your stand. You have not produced blood on the soil. You have not said, this is my civilization. This is who we are. Anything that deviates from this norm right here, these core set of values, and this right here is not representing us. That's what we cannot ever do in America. You know, we can have the image awards, everything like that. Nobody cares about your positive images. That's what Cosby couldn't understand. You know what I'm saying? They do not care. You are not going to put on a nice TV show and ultimately change the opinion of the way they think about black people. Because human nature is, if I was in your situation, I would never sit back and let another race of people govern me and enslave me and get away with it. Think about that. We're the only group of people that basically, not only should America have been begging us to stay, please, Mr. Black man, black woman, stay in America. We love you. This, that, the other. We can work it out. This, that, the other thing. We're begging them to be part of a country that enslaved us. Like as if we did something wrong. And then you wonder why our kids are acting crazy.
Crazy. Out of control.
Are mixed up and crazy. Why they kill you in a drop of a hat? Why we're so violent? You know? It seems like the more bling bling we have, the more dangerous and violent we become. You can now you have people, we didn't talk about this, you have shootouts now in churches. You have people now in the church or house of God. That's Black America 2018. It's disintegrated. It's all disintegrated. And I'm not going to blame my people ultimately. I'm going to blame these people that sold us back into slavery.
Let's do this. Can we go ahead and be specific on who's the people that sold us back into slavery?
Okay.
Especially black people, like the black people.
Okay, let me tell you so. Okay, let's talk about the Black Boule, people like Charles Spurgeon Johnson and W.B. Du Bois and all these people. Let's talk about Frederick Douglass. Let's talk even about Booker T. Washington. Now, we may like these people, tell them, okay, they have some good points and everything. But remember, most of these people were mixed race men. You know what I'm saying? They were not, see, the whole thing is that began the time period where white people were choosing who they thought would black people should lead. White people openly said, you would make a good black leader. You would make us say this, say that. Now, these people lived in a relatively world of comfort. Let me tell you something. Let me put it to you like this.
Go ahead.
I've been to upstate New York. Have you been to upstate New York? Dinus.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Been to upstate New York.
I've been, I just been in New York City.
Okay, you never been upstate New York. Well, if you live in upstate New York, you understand what I'm talking about, right? You have these mountains and these little valleys and these little small towns and hamlets and everything like that, right? Very pleasant place on the Hudson River Valley. Go up to Vermont, go up to way upstate New York, in the Mid-Hudson Valley, places like Connecticut, Massachusetts, and everything like that, and even Maine. Well, for like hundreds of years, there were little small pockets of black communities, you know what I'm saying, in these areas. And for the most part, they weren't these areas were pretty much isolated from the riffraff of white Americans. So you could, even in the 1800s, live sort of peaceful. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, what happens is, if you're building communities, and the worst part, remember, you've seen the movie 12 Years a Slave, Solomon Northup, you know what I'm saying?
I did not see the entire movie. I just saw bits and pieces of it.
Watch the entire movie. You'll get your idea what I'm talking
about. I will just because you recommended to watch it. I'll watch. I'm over slave movies. I can't take another slave movie.
But that was what
I'm gonna tell you this: the best slave movie I've ever seen, and they actually banned it in America because it was just too. It was just too realistic. It's called something. Farewell, Uncle Tom.
Oh yeah, I remember that. But what I'm saying is,
that's the best one.
Point I watching about 12 Years a Slave was this, right? You have lived, even during slavery, normal lives in America. They got some education. They lived in integrated communities and stuff like that. I can't even describe that to you, because if you live in upstate New York, there's small towns that still exist. And I studied, we moved to and stuff like that. The clubhouse and the campground we went to, the building was built back in the 1700s. I'm like, wow, this clubhouse is old. 200 had bats in the chambers and everything. That was a clubhouse. We had a pool room and everything. And I'm saying to myself, and I'm looking at the lake, and if you look at the pictures from like 200 years ago, the place has not changed at all. And there was always a small black community up there. Mostly, I studied the history in Pine Bush, upstate New York, were refuge slaves. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And they built, the whites left them alone, right? Now, if you grew up in those sort of areas and you're mixed race or whatever like that, you develop a sort of, we can sort of make it a go in America.
Right.
Now, contrast that to the fact that you cross over the Mason-Dixon line, where no matter what you look like, you can be grabbed up and kidnapped and thrown back into slavery. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I'm trying to get is this. There has always been these black people in America that have always been sort of free, and they've always been comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so therefore, when you say, well, let's leave America and everything like that, well, I'm doing pretty well. I got property, you know what I'm saying?
Right. And let's get into that. I have property, 401k, stocks and bonds, and let's get into that. Is that an illusion? Like, is that something really to leverage and use as a reason to stay in America, or is someone who leverage that? Are they tripping?
All that stuff, but you could also basically expand on the continent. You can invest overseas, stuff like that. What I'm talking about is back in the 1800s, right? You have people out there that were doing pretty well. And when the groundswell of black people saying, let's get the hell out of here. Once you read my book, you understand what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Then what happens is these people are like this. Well, if black people no longer want to be Americans, then basically I lose my credibility with the white people. Because white people are counting me to keep them in line. White people still need them to be, let's say, white people still need black people for their labor.
Hey, I was going to say, Kyle, you're going in and out. Is there a way you can take the phone off the speaker, or?
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because we can't.
Okay.
We got to get off. We got to hear all of it.
Okay. Okay. That's a
whole lot better. We got to just start doing it like this from the. Go ahead.
All right, now check this out. The white people are saying, or one behind the scene all the time. You told me that these people would do this. You told me, yes, boss. Well, I'm telling you, I gave you this property right here, and I need labor. I need your people to labor. I need them to stop exiting out of the South. I need them to stop moving around. I need them back on those fields. I need them doing their labor and everything. In other words, basically, if you keeping the black person in this constant state of gradualism, I'm saying gradualism. That means gradually white people will change their view of us. Gradually, you'll get more education. Gradually, you'll do all this stuff like that, and racism one day will disappear. The whole time that the masses of people who were sold into the idea of gradualism, these people were living comfortable. I'm comfortable. I got a little bit of money, mixed race, and everything like that. I'm gonna try to produce lighter skinned kids and everything like that. I'm gonna fit in. And if I could basically get into this white school myself, I could. They used to always say this: the mixed race people were the pioneers into getting the rest of us into white society. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We got to get them in first, and then they could change things from the inside and get the massive thing. His whole idea is the plantation mentality. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into the big house, right? And I don't know whether they were sincere or real stupid or just be deceitful. You know what I'm saying? But the whole idea was to convince the mass of black people that one day you're going to gradually become part of the big house. You're going to gradually come off the field and you're going to integrate into American society, which is non-racial and pluralistic. And that's what you have right now. Now that whole system is on this deathbed. You know what I'm saying? They're on this deathbed. All hell is breaking loose in Black America. Chaos, poverty, insanity and everything, and you still got Negro
the super coonery,
super coonery, everything you can imagine. I can't imagine. I would never imagine 20 some years ago I would see grown men in their 40s and 50s with their pants sagging down,
ass
ass hanging out, walking down the street and everything. I would never thought any of this one. It's mind boggling. My point.
Callan, go ahead, and then I got a question from the chat room. But go ahead.
Okay, so what I'm saying is this: that we've been sold on this idea. Why? Because our development was arrested. You know what I'm saying? Our development was arrested. We bought into the idea. Let's be honest with ourselves. We bought into the idea of America. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? America is this thing where 4th of July, Memorial Day, red, white, and blue, we're all Americans and all stuff like this. The whole time, you got white America like, okay, look at these fools over here. You know what I'm saying? If they're going to go along with it, fine. So long as you understand that when the police knock you upside the head and everything like that, they're always going to be that line between you and me. I'm the real America.
Right.
And then we get our Negro wake-up call, like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Why is all this stuff happening? So why the police calling and coming on us and everything? Why? Because the whole time we were bought into a lie. You know what I'm saying? The police are there to protect white people from you and us. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask 2 questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Question number 1 is, do you think Black America as a collective is ever going to get their Negro wake-up call? The question number 2, there's a debate in the chat room. Someone is stating, or Fair B-Ram and a couple of Nigerians are stating that Nigeria is the only self-sufficient country in Africa. Do you believe Nigeria is a self-sufficient country?
And not only do I believe Nigeria is not self-sufficient, it's one of the least self-sufficient countries in Africa. Let's talk about Nigeria.
Go ahead.
Of course, the person that's saying that really think that we don't know the deal, and we haven't studied Nigeria for years and everything. Nigeria produces less than 2,500 megawatts of electricity for a population of 180 million people. Let me give you some scale.
Go ahead.
The state of Alabama, one of our poor states in America, produces 3,000 megawatts a day worth of electricity, right, for 4 million people. So the state of Alabama produces more electricity megawatts than the whole entire state of country of Nigeria. That means the majority of Nigerians are living off the grid. They use generators, which is really dangerous to the environment and stuff like that. Noise pollution, just pollution altogether. The majority of Nigerians do not live on a sewer grid. They got to use outhouses and buckets and stuff like that. The country's undeveloped. You'll have some people at houses that have big houses. This is the African mentality. They'll buy a big house but have no plumbing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to be funny, but they'll have they'll have no plumbing. You know, no electricity. There's no electrical wires. There's nothing going on. There's no grid, whatever like that. You know, and there's no street lights on the end of the street. The street is not paved. It's half dirt and half paved, but they got a big house. And so what I'm saying is Asia, where instead of everybody buying big houses and everything, what they do is they take the same plot of land and build smaller houses and apartments as to give everybody affordable house living. That's the entry level into the first world. You know?
Right.
And so therefore, the idea that Nigeria is just now, after all these years, building its first oil refinery. Aliko Dangote is building his first oil refinery. Before, Nigeria had to import, it made oil, produce oil, but it could not, it doesn't have the logistics and the engineering base to process oil into gasoline. And so all this paint, all this petroleum products have to be imported, right? And in fact, the matter is, you got African countries, other regions of the world, where your number one trading partner is your next neighboring country. You have Nigeria still does most of its trade with its former colony, the UK. And it has almost no trade going on between its neighbors. That's a colony, you know? And so the idea of bragging about Nigeria is nothing to brag about right now. Nigeria is in a mess. Its president cannot even go to, it has to go out of the country to get basic money.
They said that's not an issue. And I'm like, come on, like when your own leader has to leave the country to get medical treatment, that's a
national security issue. That's a basic that's just a shame. That's a real freaking shame. And so what I'm saying is, the black race is in a mess, right? Black America.
Let me say something real quick. Lumani Lana, he's telling the truth. I've been in a couple houses in Africa, big houses with no plumbing. So he's not. I had to literally dump buckets, get fetch water from the big tanks or whatever. So he's telling the truth. But go ahead.
Yeah,
I say that's all. We're not stereotyping all of Africa, but I have experienced what Cologenesis, me myself in Africa, I've definitely experienced what Cologenesis is speaking on. But go ahead.
Yeah. So my point is this. The point is this. What we have right now is this: the black race is in a we're in a crossroads.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's do or die and everything. All the stuff Mr. Rosenthal put out there, all the stuff that we've been saying for years and everything. If we don't implement this stuff and do this stuff, like, we're just doomed. Right now, there is no black African global infrastructure. Right now, or everything that comes inside of Africa, Haiti, or Black America comes through the hands of other races. Now, think of yourself, Dynas, right? Do you consider Asians superior to us?
Absolutely not.
Do you feel another race of people? When I look at white people, I just look at little men. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'll step on you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I feel. You know what I'm saying? So why is it that I feel like Thanos sometimes, that I want to be the ruler of the world when I got to kowtow and look at these people making billions of dollars. What makes a white man, he whatever he says he wants. He says, Bugsy Siegel says, look at the desert right here and I see casinos. And guess what? It happens. You know what I'm saying? Walt Disney goes to the hot swamps of Central Florida and says, I see a city here, entertainment city here, Disney. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? It happens. You know what I'm saying? Why is it that the only race of people that can't say, this is what I see right here and I have a vision for right here is a black man? Everybody want to fight. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't do that, this, that, and the other thing. And we believe it. The black man in America is more than capable of building and governing himself.
All right, so the question in the chat room is, how can we govern and build our own nation if we'll take, for example, Detroit? We can't govern our own.
Because we're not. Detroit was never ours. You know what I'm saying? Detroit was never ours. Never ours to begin with. If you study anything when we talk about govern, that means when you say govern, that means you have sovereignty or autonomy over the territory from the ground up. Detroit was just a big plantation. Whites still control, even Atlanta, Georgia. Like, hot Atlanta. Let's be honest with ourselves. None of these places black people really own and control. It's always whites and Jews at the top that really own everything. And we look at the aesthetics. People driving nice cars and maybe have a 401k and got some money. And you may have some celebrities and some people who strike it rich in business here and there, just say it. But when it really comes down to it, who makes Atlanta work and everything is the white community. You know what I'm saying? It's the collective white community that runs Atlanta. Let's just be honest with ourselves. There's nothing in America, no place in America that black people control. New York City, forget it. I don't have to say that. Forget about it. You know what I'm saying?
Especially now.
It's Wall Street, especially now. Before, New York, I don't know what we were battling for. Even though we made up the majority in New York, you know what I'm saying? We were like on the bottom economically and everything. Even though we have nice communities in New York that black people have money and everything, but they're ruggedly individualistic. But for the most part, it's the white community that control the police, the fire department, the paramedics, the Con Edison, the electrical company. When I gave my grandfather his first job back, he was one of the first black men to work at Con Edison in New York City. He retired a wealthy man. But the whole thing is, it was the unions. The unions are all white controlled. All these things, the institutions and everything, the big the museums of natural history. All these things were already controlled by whites centuries before the black man even thought about having his equality, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, using Detroit and Chicago as a bad example. But I'm saying this: if you talk about anywhere inside the United States, there's no black people that control any infrastructure inside of America from the top down. Has never happened. The Indians at least have reservations. You know what I'm saying? The Indians at least have reservations. They don't do nothing with it because the Indians don't believe in building on the land. You know what I'm saying? That's their culture. They don't believe. They believe the Earth is just there. And like I said, why people want to be Native Americans, I have no idea. Because although I think they're beautiful people, they're stupid people. You know, they don't believe in working the land and doing all stuff like that we did. You know, and that's why their race died off. You know, so that's just what I was saying about them. My point is this, though. My point is when people say, "Well, what about America?" Look, the bottom line is this: America is going to be the same old 100 years from now. Now, what we have to do is this. We have to have land on our ancestral homeland to invest in. Even if you don't go there, like you asked a question earlier, Diane, about 401k, you have to give it out. You don't have to leave America to support nationhood. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about building a nation state in a host country, most African countries have stock exchanges. You know what I'm saying? I was a member of the African Stock Exchange Association a couple of years ago. Well, my friend Delon Bell. You know, they got stock exchanges. They got bond markets and everything. Learning the basics about business. How do you float municipal bonds? How do you pay back tax, raise tax revenue? You know what I'm saying? You build your own municipalities. Once you incorporate as a city or a state, whatever like that, you have the right to raise taxes. You know what I'm saying? You have the right to collect taxes on property. All these things are how you raise revenue for your new nation state. You know, all these basic things that we never wanted to learn. You know,
Colin, let me stop you real quick. You know, we got people are upset and offended. They're triggered by your Nigerian comments. Colin, do me a favor. Where's the article on your friend in Lagos that's doing the monorail project?
Oh, John Cashin. I can't find this thing.
What's how you spell his name?
Cashin.
Okay, I got it right here. All right, here we go. John Cashin, CEO, Metro Rail Limited.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just pull up his I got his LinkedIn right here. Well, hold on. Let me
do a share. Do a share.
Oh, that's how I'm gonna do it right now because I mean people are just God's sake, man.
Well,
we can't be delusional, man. I mean, Nigeria is not self-sufficient. It's not. I mean, even Aliko Dangote says if he had enough electricity, he'll making damn near triple the amount of money he's making.
And matter of fact, John Cashin, one of the problems he has with Metro Rail is the problem with the electricity.
Hold on. I have his bio right here. Let me go ahead and pull this up, man. I'm going to read it. Golly, man. I mean, just like how we're being honest, how Black America's fucked up. I'm gonna need you Nigerians to be honest how Nigeria is fucked up. I mean, come on, we just got to be honest. I mean, when your own president can't get treatment in his own country, that's an issue. And this is a country and a people who sit there and brag about the number of doctors they have and degrees and all these other certificates and degrees, whatever you want to call it. But your president can't get treatment in his own country. That's a problem. And if you can't see that's not a problem, you're delusional. I mean, come on, you're a leader of a country in Africa and you can't get treatment in your own country. That's an issue. And I can't believe the excuses I'm hearing giving Buhari an excuse to not get treatment in his own country. You can't excuse that. That's weird. I mean, am I tripping?
No, you're telling the absolute truth.
If Donald Trump was to go seek treatment, here we go. Donald Trump's wife just had some type of surgery earlier this week. And she left America to go get treatment somewhere in Europe. They will look, people like, what the, huh? But for some reason, Nigerians don't think that's an issue. When your own president has to leave the Nigerian White House, whatever you want to call it, to go get treatment in London or England, it will probably be gone. Like, I think the first time he was gone, like what, 3-4 months?
Yeah, he was gone like 6 months.
He was gone like 6 months. Might be gone another 6 months. And we have Nigerians in the chat room arguing like that's not a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let me read this. I mean, it's just I don't understand. You know, just like how we're discussing how we got killer Sambos in the Black community.
Yeah,
certain shit is fucked up in the Black community. For some reason, Nigerians think, oh, we don't have electricity, but we're self-sufficient. Buhari's getting
right
in England, but we're self-sufficient. I'm looking at shit.
Checks out.
No, I'm looking at shit that's going on in the Niger Delta, like bootlegging oil. bootleg gasoline.
In northern Nigeria too.
Yeah.
They can't defeat.
Self-sufficient. There's no issues here. No issues here. No issues in Nigeria.
Check this out. You got Biafra, a war going on in Biafra trying to succeed. You got northern Nigeria and everything. Like, they can't defeat a bunch of primitive cattlemen, you know what I'm saying, with AK-47s. But everything's all right. What are these people, crazy? You know? So, like I said, it's just sad because a lot of the Africans, they what they want to do is sit in the West and sit and drink Mai Tais, chase white girls outside of Africa and everything. But they want to sit there on Facebook and fight over their image of their country. If you really care about your country, you'll be home trying to make a difference. You know, you have a country. You have a country where you're the majority. We don't have that. You know what I'm saying? We don't have that. That's the difference between us and you guys. I said, we're not a nation yet. You know what I'm saying? And the topic of the Tonight Show, what I'm going to get into, is the nation and the state. African Americans aren't currently a nation. We want to be a nation because we have a similar history. And we definitely don't have a state. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
so therefore,
let me stop real quick. So people keep, it's not, here we go. This is the question, Colin. Then we'll move on. And I'm going to show the your John, who works for the monorail, and then we're going to move on. Okay, they're saying that it's not the people, which is true. They're saying that Nigeria is self-sufficient. It's just the corruption issue is the issue. Now, can you be self-sufficient? Now, if you're dealing with corruption issues, that means you're not self-sufficient. Am I right or wrong?
You're Colin? Right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That Nigeria had no less than 12 coups. Its first government.
Hey,
coup after coup.
You're going in and out.
Okay, coup after I'm talking a little bit. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, coup after coup in Nigeria. You know, in the 19th, so they were spending a whole bunch of money, borrowing a whole bunch of money on their oil. The oil prices tanked in the 80s and everything like that, and the economy crashed. The Nigerian economy never really recovered after that. You know, when oil prices, the oil glut, they had an oil glut, and the prices, crude oil prices crashed. Okay. Now, my point is this though. What you have in Nigeria, not to pick on Nigeria, it's Africa in general.
Yeah, we're not picking on Nigerians, but goddamn, we got issues. Like Black America has issues. You know,
we all have issues.
We point them out, no issue. But then we point out the issues Nigerian has. It's like, oh, don't you? No. There's no issues in Nigeria. Oh, we're self-sufficient. No, you're not.
You know, what gets me is this though. If this was a white person saying the same thing, they will sit there and try to engage. Okay, I understand. What can we do to say that? But they don't want to take criticism for another Black people. Like they want to, okay, you guys just gonna get one up on us and all such stuff like that. That is insecurity. You know what I'm saying? That is insecurity and self-hate. Well, no, I can't take African Americans saying that because they're gonna think less of us. We don't think less of you. Nigeria is my country just as much as yours. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about Nigeria, we're talking about ourselves too. Because if Nigeria fails, we fail.
Right.
That's what they don't seem to understand. They're so tribalized. That's why their defense mechanism gets.
Hey, Kyla, we got to do a video. Next video on Saturday. Tribalism is the new coonery.
Like tribalism. Yes,
is the new coonery.
Yeah. So what I'm saying, they get so tribalized, right? And I'm saying to myself, if I'm pointing out stuff, this, that, and the other thing, you know, so I'm doing it from the point of, look, if Africa succeeds and wins, I'm winning. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Nigeria become a fully industrialized powerhouse because that gives us more power in America. But they don't see it that way. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have any intent. They have no sense of nationalism. They're not a nation. Let's talk about something.
Go ahead.
Nigeria has never become a nation. It's a territory created by Richard Lugard in the early 1900s. He called it it was literally called the nigger area, Nigeria. You know, and they basically drew the whole map up on a napkin over drinks and a dinner. You know, and they basically said, this is an area, we call it the nigger area, Nigeria. And it was a business venture by the British Nigeria Company that governed this territory from out of a little tiny, a little square office in Lagos. And they toured the interior. The whole thing about Nigeria was they left the northern region, which had what they thought was superior government. They thought, they automatically assumed because the northern region were Muslims and they wore these fine garbs, and they went to the Arabian world, and some of the sultans in Egypt at the time, in Nigerian Kano, they automatically thought that that civilization of the north of the Benue River was superior to the Yoruba and the Igbo civilization of the south, which was more westernized in many ways, influenced by the slave trade, right? So they automatically assumed if we're going to have a partner here, it's going to be the people in the north. And that's what Nigeria's problem. They divided the country up, they're deliberately giving the north the most territory. And so they give the north the most power. And that's what basically, northerners who don't have any oil have more say-so and are wealthier than the people that live in the south where the oil comes from. And that's been Nigeria's problem. They made sure when they created Uganda, you had the Koli tribes in one area, the Langi tribes area. They made sure these people who had nothing to do with each other, right, will live under the same state. How do they do that? By building infrastructure. They connected roads, railways, and everything. So you create a physical thing called an infrastructure, which is called a state. But there's no nation. A nation means that the people living in that particular territory are all one people, one ethnic group. They see each other as one people. You can have a nation, right? A state, but you have no nation. Nations, people are one. They're one together. They see themselves defined by geographical boundaries as an ethnic group. You know what I'm saying? That's called a nation state. But what you have in Africa, deliberately creating nations, states that would never become nations because they're always divided by language, religion. Look at what's going on in Central African Republic. Half the country is Christian, half the country is Muslim. The French did that on purpose. They made sure the country is half Muslim, half Christian. Why? So they'd always be fighting with each other. Now, we should thank God for the victory that we have in Rwanda, because somehow this man, Paul Kagame, they were able to overcome this Tutsi thing, right? Right? Because look at Burundi still fighting. They're about to have another civil war in Burundi. Rwanda has basically stood out as an example of what African reconciliation can really be. You know,
now, word on the street is Bugame's a puppet to America, and
no. See, that's what they do to put that up there. Checks out Rwanda in 19 what was the year Obama took office? What was that? 2009, right? 2009. You know what they did? You know what they did? They kicked the French out, right? And banned the French language as a medium and introduced English with the prospect that they're going to one day move to an African indigenous language. And since that time, Rwanda has basically boomed. You know what I'm saying? The French are the biggest enemies in Africa. You know what I'm saying? That's what this is all about. The French and all these other people do not like Kagame because he does not take their crap. Now, it's funny how people will say that about Kagame, right? But at the same time, Kagame told the United States, you're not going to dump your secondhand clothes on our markets. You know, we're building our own textile industry. And the United States is threatening to kick him out of AGOA, the African Growth and Opportunities Act, and also several trade agreements. He said, we don't care. And that's why he was interim in the African Free Trade Zone. In other words, Kagame's been going around building the idea of African Union and Pan-Africanism. Now, how could that be happening? He has educated. You see the new Kigali they're building? New city being built, educated, clean city, cleanest city on the African continent, one of the cleanest cities in the world. But yet people say, oh, well, this is what I'm talking about. Anytime black people are successful, it's the same thing that Kagame is going through right now. It's the same thing they used to say about the American Liberians. Oh, your success is coming at the expense of... Now, white people can live in Africa for centuries. No one will ever say, you know, your success is coming at the expense of black people. It's a given. Yeah, I'm white in Africa. What are you going to do about it? But as soon as black people get success, like crabs in a barrel, you can't be successful because look what's going on in your neighbor in the Congo. So I guess Kagame is supposed to shut down all his accomplishments and everything like that right now.
What they're saying is Paul Kagame is fueling what's going on.
That's a lie. That is a freaking lie. What's fueling is the British who are selling weapons. You know what I'm saying? The French and all these other people who are trying to get in there. Everybody's in the Congo right now trying to get minerals out and stuff like that. To put it all on one man is unfair. And we just say that, right? And without even thinking. Me personally, until you have concrete proof and evidence You know what I'm saying? Then I'll say, you know something, Brother Kagame, that's wrong. But I know people just say just enough just to put it out there. And before you know it, it's too late. You have a rebel or a coup or instability in the region. And then you got, next thing you know, you got people that want to bring Paul Kagame to The Hague. Why? Because he extended his term in office, right? And he had some ignorant woman in Rwanda who just decided she wanted to be president. She had support from the West and everything. She wanted to be president. That's another thing. Africans, that annoys me. Everybody and his uncle thinks they qualified to be president. It's my turn to be president. I'm the opposition. You know, everybody is so focused on politics. Now, this lady doesn't get involved with the cleanup active thing, the education, the high level business Rwanda is doing across the globe, and all the stuff they participate in. No, these people sit around dormant and idle. But when it comes down to election time, everybody suddenly gets activated and like they got so much to say. So I see this all the time. And I'm just saying, I don't want Rwanda to become another Liberia. You know what I'm saying? Because it's easy. Because people do not want to see this country succeed. Because Rwanda is an inspiration to the rest of Africa. You know what I'm saying? This is what you could do. I had them watch this one video. He had some brother from the Congo was like, man, I wish this was my country. You know, I wish this was the Congo. You know, it's not the Congo because you guys killed Laurent Kabila. So is that Paul Kagame's fault? You know what I'm saying? Remember Laurent Kabila who threw up Mobutu? That was going to be the best thing. That was going to be a revolution in the Congo. I remember that. I was like, man, give me a few years. I'm going over it. I like this brother. And next thing you know, he's assassinated, right? And then his son took over. His son's a clown. You know what I'm saying? Joseph Kabila. You know what I'm saying? He's a clown. And so I'm like, man, what's going on? So all this stuff, there's evidence of so much fraud going on with the state of Israel, Jewish businessmen who are in the Congo. Let me tell you something. Most of the people that's fueling this in the Congo region are in Kinshasa. You know what I'm saying? Kinshasa got a stock market, everything. They got a well-developed infrastructure there. You know what I'm saying? Most of the diamond merchants, the gold and the coal train people, traders are in Kinshasa in bed with the president. You know, so when people don't mention Kabila and they throw out Paul Kagame, it's just either jealousy or they're just ignorant. You know what I'm saying? Me, I'm being fair. You know what I'm saying? I'm being fair about across the board. You know. Oh,
real quick, Colin, let's take a look at because somebody said that you were lying about John Cashin. So let me go ahead and pull this up real quick.
Yeah. Put it up there.
Let me read his bio. Goodness, man.
So why don't you put it up on the share? Put it up on the share.
No, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, I can't see it. So it must be.
Yeah, it's up there now.
Okay, here we go. Okay,
so let me read his bio. All right, everybody. John Cashin. John attended the University of Alabama here in America. All right, now this is the website, Metro Rail. Now this is the official, like, I guess, transportation agency in Nigeria. Is that what this is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Board of Directors, John Cashin, GEOT/PET, Executive Director and CEO. John attended the University of Alabama 1977 through 1979, majoring in broadcast and film communications. He also attended Texas Southern, which is an HBCU, where he majored in geological and petroleum engineering technology. He has worked with Phillips Petroleum, SOHIO, Standard Oil of Ohio, Union Oil of California, Gulf Oil, Chevron, and Pan American World Airways in the United States. That's the old school. They went to fuck, didn't they?
Which one was it?
Pan Am.
Oh yeah, Pan Am. Yeah, that's way old school. Bro.
He is the owner of Metroland Ventures in Nigeria, a value-added reseller of Apple Inc. products, which specializes in sales, upgrading, repair, and troubleshooting of Apple Macintosh products, and provides services to various clients such as This Day Newspapers, Tanaba, Business Resort Ltd, Calabar, Office of the CEO, African Independent Television, NTA Network, Silverbird Television, ABG TV, SONU, Inside Gray, and private individuals. John's involvement in monorail technologies began in 1982 when he was researching a transport solution for the city of Houston, Texas. A major issue for his campaign for a seat on the Houston City Council at large in 1983. He was introduced to Merle Goodall, a petroleum engineer and CEO of the Houston Advanced Monorail, Inc. Merle invented and built the Houston Advanced Monorail, Houston, Texas in 1956, and worked with Dr. Axel Leonard Wintergren on the Disneyland 1959 in Seattle 1963 monorails. Merle and John jointly present a new monorail mass transportation solution at a Houston Metro Public Forum in 1984 at Texas Southern University. John has since then liaised with various monorail companies and groups such as Metrail, Hitachi, Scomi, Bombardier, which is big here in Atlanta. They do the underground trains at the Atlanta airport, and Mono Metro, and has been a member of the Monorail Society for 6 years. He is also the founder of Monorail Nigeria Group. Let me repeat that again. He is also the founder of Monorail Nigeria Group. I'm going to repeat that one more time. He is also the founder of Monorail, because I mean, again, we'll get people in the chat, Black Americans haven't built any contributing.
Lord.
He is also the founder of Monorail Nigeria Group, launched in 2001. He shall apply his vast knowledge in monorail technology to ensure the delivery of the first elevated suspended rail technology in Nigeria, Africa. All right, so we're done with that. I hope we're done with that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
The whole thing is, this is the problem right here. You know, like I said at the outset, when you think of Black people in America and everything, like I said, I can't understand how some of our brothers and sisters can't understand why imaging and messaging is not getting out there. What I think the problem is, we have way too many Black people out there that are famous from entertainment. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people don't like when I say that. You know what I'm saying? We have way too many entertainers. We got way too many entertainers making political decisions, giving political advice, and being out there. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear what somebody have to say that throws a football have to say about an election or whatever like that. I don't want to hear it. I don't care about your money. If you want to donate money and everything like that, support your cause, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But when you get up there and like Jay-Z found out, you know what I'm saying? Nobody want to hear what you have to say about politics. Nobody wants to hear it. Jay-Z, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to hear it. Like you can't be talking about drugs and Marcy's son and all this kind of stuff like that for 2 decades and everything. And then suddenly you want to give and be Cliff Huxtable, you know what I'm saying, about family life. And nobody wants to hear it. We have way too many people that don't know about Black people in America. And John Cash is just one person, you know what I'm saying? There's a network of African Americans on the continent that are leading Africa's development. Mr. Rosenthal, I can't wait till you have Mr. Rosenthal on.
Yeah, I got to get him on.
You know what I'm saying?
I definitely got to get him on.
So therefore, this idea, African Americans and everything, come on. You have way too many people who don't know who we are, don't know what we're capable of and everything. And let me tell you something. Black men in America, we have something to say to the world. You think we're just sitting here in America, just, white people are ruling and everything like that? No. Black men in America have changed the course of history. You know what I'm saying? We're going to continue to be doing these things. Now we're focused on Africa because that's the last frontier. You know what I'm saying? We're focused on heavy on Africa, building Africa, and making Africa sustainable for all of us. You know what I'm saying? We want to create the new paradigm, you know? Our paradigm for the last 400 years is about slavery, suffering, and death. Now, I don't think, let me ask you a question. Do you think Black people are ready to live in a world where they're not suffering?
But let me ask you this. Have you ever seen the movie called The Watchmen?
What's that?
It came out like in 2008 or 2009.
What's about Ben Stiller and them?
Was Ben Stiller in The Watchmen? I don't.
What's that fat guy? What's his name? Jonas, whatever his name is.
I don't remember, but basically what happened, man. So I forgot. Like one of the characters implemented something where there would be world peace, and then
I'm thinking of another movie.
Right, and then maybe like 10 years later, like a news editor was like the editor of a newspaper was like, "We need more violence because we have nothing to write about."
Wow.
So I don't know. I mean, that's a good question, Colin.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it is.
You think we just need the You think we just need the attention? I mean, you think
I
that
think what it is this. Let me.
the drama is just entertaining to us. A lot of us.
I think. Let me say this. And while I got it on the top of my head, I meant to tell you this when we'll talk this afternoon.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was watching one video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm suspended from Facebook, so I can't comment. I'm just frustrated. I got my other account, the Jimmy Zion account. That's gonna be back on. I got suspended from 2 accounts, man. I go over the other one. Oh, you suspended 2 accounts suspended, man. And they're after me, man. Somebody read something and reported it. Anyway, this lady, this African American girl lady, was in Brazil, and she was talking about Brazil and black people in Brazil and racism. And that what annoys me is when these people, when they start talking about racism, right away they start talking about, look, most of the acting jobs are done by white Brazilians, and black Brazilians don't have this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Most of the population is this, but most of the blacks don't have this. And so no one ever smacks upside the head and say, the reason why you don't have that is because the white people built those institutions and everything like that. That's why they have this and you don't have this.
Right.
The whole idea is black people, it seems some black people don't want to say, okay, the reason why we don't have is because we don't build. We don't want to build. You know what I'm saying? If we built, and if you build something and you're in a country where you're the majority and you're calling the shots and everything, if somebody else has an advantage, then they deserve to have an advantage because you're just stupid.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're just freaking stupid. The reason why you want to point to examples of that is because Brazil, okay, it's still controlled by whites. Okay, the last country to abolish slavery. We understand that. But that had nothing to do with the fact that for decades, most Afro-Brazilians resented being called black. It ain't this blackness in Brazil is new. Mm-hmm. Before they were called what we call mulatto, brown, tan, stuff like that. So now because they see African Americans on the rise, they're like, okay, wow, if African Americans could be proud to be black and everything like that, maybe we can. So there's a black pride thing going on in Brazil right now. That's just new. Now you're going to take time to catch up because most Brazilians, they could be black as the ace of spades. They'll still call themselves white. Say they were like Dominican Republic.
Yeah, like Dominican.
You know what I'm saying? They'll be black, but they call themselves white.
I'm not black. I'm Dominican.
I'm not Dominican. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you what an ignorant Dominican once told me.
What?
Barber. So I was getting my hair cut right, and this Dominican of obvious African descent told me that his mom told him to not identify as black because she doesn't want him to be identified as I hate saying the N-word, but we'll just say Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hate saying the real N-word. So, but the thing is like what? But the thing is like what advantage do you get by doing that? Which is nothing.
Oh, the whole thing is what it is like when you come to America, right? This is what happens. You see yourself through the white man's spectacles. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So most people in their unconscious mind, subconscious, see themselves as white. Right. Until something racial happened to you, then you remind yourself that you're black. Or when you go out to a club, when you feel black, when you go out to a club.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You go out to a club. Because when you go out to a club, right? Remember something, right? You're in your primal state. Everything that a woman that uses to select you and everything like that is based on not your status, money, and everything. It's what you physically look like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What you physically look like. She's looking at you what you physically look like. So it does not matter. So if she's into white guys, that white guy could be a bum. He could be a bum. He could be a working class white guy. But if she's saying, like, in her primal state, she's saying, if I get with him or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, I could live the white life. I'll have half white kids, whatever like that. And she'll choose that over a black guy. Let's say a black guy comes in. Well, he's a little too dark, whatever like that, blah, blah, blah. Black guy comes in, he's light skinned, got light eyes, whatever. Like, okay, well, I can pick him up. Guys do the same thing with females. It doesn't matter what kind of personality she has, everything. You're at your basic primal instinct when you're in the club, when you're doing the mating game. It's like you're animal. You're like an animal. Animals do the same thing. When they look at different mates and everything like that, they pick out the people who look the strongest, who look like they're most accomplished. I don't know how women determine that, which lion is stronger than the other one. You've seen that in Animal Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This lion's fighting. She chooses which lion is the dominant. She chooses which lion is the alpha, which was the beta. You know what I'm saying? It's something that women can detect. You know what I'm saying? In America, people automatically detect the white man is in power. He's the beta. He's the alpha. You know what I'm saying? And black people do. So it doesn't matter what you have in the bank, what kind of person you have, what kind of personality you have, how good looking you may be as a black man or black woman. The bottom line is when people come over here, they want to be attached to the winning team, the white team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it doesn't see in America, there's only winners and losers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There's no in between. And a lot of black people have never figured that out. There are no winners and losers. There's only winners and losers in America. There's no let's all come in and have a nice day. Now, what's going on right now, the cultural Marxists, I watched this video today where these cheerleaders were crying because what happened was these girls worked 18 hours a day and everything like that. A couple of black girls, and they were working their butt off to be on a cheerleading squad, right? Mm-hmm. One girl didn't make it, whatever like that, and her mother complained, right? And the girl simply wasn't.
They made everybody cheerleaders, right? Is that
yeah, that's the whole thing going on now. It's like let's make them all winners. You know what I'm saying? Let's all make them all cheerleaders. So that, and the girls like, well, we kept our bodies nice and everything, and we wanted to be cheerleaders and everything. But let's give everybody a chance to be a cheerleader. And they were crying and said, what's the sense of working all this hard? And the same thing what goes on in America. What's the sense of having blonde to blue eye, keeping your blood pure, blonde hair and blue eyed if everyone could just be American? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So black people in America, basically what I'm telling you is we are in a bad situation. White people are not giving up that privilege. It's like anything else. It's like, see, other people work, they accomplish something and they pass it down to their kids. White people, they pass it down that racial purity, that white privilege, that white heritage to the future generations.
Right.
And they're not going to give that up. And then what you call all these people that come over here, no matter what, they want in on it. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They yearn for that. Well, there's a place I could go to where I could be just a shoe shine. I could shine shoes on the weekend. I could shine shoes all week, but I could put a nice suit and tie on, and I walk down the street, and because I got white skin, people call me sir. That's America. You know what I'm saying? That's America. That's something that goes to the very core of what America is. It's racism, white supremacy, white nationalism, white solidarity, white species survival. So I believe definitely if black people have our own land where we're the phenotype, where our gene pool is protected. Now, let me ask you a question. How can you basically be a nation and a people where you don't like your bloodline? Right. You know what I'm saying? See, the thing is, you have too many black people who do not like their roots, don't like their bloodline. You know what I'm saying? They don't like their bloodline. I'm not African. I'm Black American. You know what I'm saying? I'm not African. I got Native American blood in me. You know what I'm saying? I want mixed kids. Oh, pretty little light-skinned kids and whatnot, mixed kids. They got some pretty hair. They got that good hair and whatnot. I don't want no kids with no nappy hair and whatnot. The hatred for your phenotype. As much as black people hate their phenotype, the white people love their phenotype. So you have an unequal contest to begin with. You can't fight somebody who's confident. If you ever fought in fights and everything, it's usually the guy who has the most confidence and most sure of himself is the guy's going to win. You know, if you don't know who you are, what you are, where you're going, you're not going to win. It's the same thing with the game of life. The black people in America don't know who they are. They don't know where they're going. White people know where they're going. They tell you every day, and they're confident in that. Then when they find a black man like me who says, okay, this is what I want to do, they're like, oh my God, I don't know how to take him. They don't know how to take me. He must be a black. No, I'm not racist. But I understand where my ancestors come from. And I mean, I know where I'm going. You know what I'm saying? Now you want to label me a black supremacist, black racist, whatever you want to throw on me, go ahead. But I care. I don't hate anybody. You know what I'm saying? I just know that my genes, my genetic type, my bloodline is going to survive. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? We're going to survive. I love my people. I love specifically my African-American culture, my heritage and everything like that. And I want to see that culture relive. and survive because we have something to say to the world. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna let the white man tell my story. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna tell my story. Who the hell is he to tell me my story? When you plant your flag on soil and build your nation, you can tell the world your story. You can be friends with whoever you want to be friends with. That's what having a nation is all about. You know what I'm saying? You can make other people respect you when they come to your land and do business. You're calling the shots. You're making the laws. You're making the rules. You know what I'm saying? If anybody doesn't like you and everything, they don't have to be around you. We have no power in America over people who come here and take advantage of us, rob us every day in the so-called black communities and everything, and we have nothing to say about it. And we're going to pass that on to future generations, and you wonder why these kids are going crazy, why they don't respect adults.
Right.
You know? You go out there to these kids telling them, well, pull up your pants, do right. These kids will kill you. They know you ain't got no say, you ain't got no power. They know who the ones calling the shots. They know the ones, it's the white man and the police they got to worry about. You know what I'm saying? So until you build something that they say, well, geez, I want to be part of that. You know, I don't want to be left, I don't want to miss the train. I don't want to be left behind. I want to be part of that. What, with nation building now? Yes. If you come with us, come with me, I'll take you hot, I'll take you cold, but I will not take you lukewarm. If you're cold, say you're cold. Just say, look, I'm studying. I don't know and everything, but I really support you and everything. You're hot, you're on fire, take initiative. But if you're lukewarm, stay away. Because lukewarm, you'll make me sick. You know, so
like you are now. They said that you can't rise up with that cough.
Yeah, rise up.
They're gonna rise up with that cough.
Actually, the cough ain't that bad tonight. You know, I haven't really coughed that much. It ain't that bad tonight. You know, you gonna rise up. I mean, you know, that's another thing. You know, they're just sitting around waiting for thing. I mean, let me tell you something, man. There's a lot of people, man, after Ferguson who have disappeared. I don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? I had a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? I was on this conference call one night, right? And they said, yo, get on this conference call, right? I was like, okay, you know. They were like, Colin, you got a huge following and everything like that. Well, okay, right. So I got on the conference call and everything. We're in Ferguson, you know. And also the dude was like, first of all, it was a chick who invited on me, all right? That's what they do. They send
Colin, real quick, the Nigerians are saying that cough is because you're bashing Nigeria. So they put a juju curse on you. That's why you cough. You
don't do that, man.
So they put some juju on you. But now you coughing because you bashing Nigeria.
That's funny. Check this out. Anyway, so the dude gets this chick. She calls up, says, yeah, this, that, the other thing. Her conference call night. So I'm like, okay, this, that, the other thing. She, you know, they always get you some cute chick, some hotep chick on there to recruit you, whatever like that. I'm sitting there saying, okay, I'm sitting on the conference line. And who's on the line? It was Sean Qualley, the new Black Panther Party. A whole bunch of people on the conference line. I'm sitting there listening. I'm saying they were like, yeah, we got to do this and everything like that, right? And then at the end of the day, can you submit me all the names of people you know? And I said, and we're gonna come under one umbrella. You know what I'm saying? I said, well, under umbrella like what? Well, we need to be united under one umbrella. I said, well, who? Under such and such, whatever, some dude, you know, and some pretty boy dude that's he's real deep and he's your leader. I was like, ain't nobody my goddamn leader. Get the hell out of here. Well, you know, we got to come under. Look, the bottom line is this, you know, y'all ain't going to do nothing in Ferguson and everything. All y'all do is try to build your organizations up and everything. And what they don't stand, so we live in the age of the internet. Anybody can get up there and get a Facebook following and everything. So we're all supposed to come under you because of what? You know what I'm saying? Because this could you wear that turban on your head? You know, right. You got this big gown on and everything like that, you know? And so you now the Grandmaster Boom Shakalaka, you know?
Grandmaster who?
Boom Shakalaka, you know? And so I'm like, man, get out of here with that. So anyway, right after that, don't say Sean Qualley kind of mad at me. He was like, yeah, Colin, man, you don't talk about this, man, blah, blah, blah. This and the other. I go, Sean, man, cut it out with that shit. You know, really. You know what I'm saying? You know, we've been through this before. Nah, man, it's time. This is a revolution. I said, look, y'all niggas ain't going to rise up nothing. Y'all ain't going to revolutionize nothing. All y'all going to do is get a bunch of people in jail. You know, no, Collins, I said, look, you know, don't go there with me with that. because the bottom line is all I'm doing is telling you something that's for your own good. You know what I'm saying? And was I right? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, people got arrested in Ferguson that are facing tens of thousands.
It's crazy. You know how many people got killed?
Yeah. And not only that, remember when those police came out, the state troopers, they had guns trained on broad daylight, nonviolent protesters.
Right.
And if you think those police were not ready to use it, they weren't having that was no rubber bullets they were going to shoot. They were going to shoot to kill. They basically were like this. And then the prosecutor acted as the defense attorney for Darren Wilson, whatever his name is. Mm-hmm. You know, he was acting like he was prosecuting Mike Brown. You know, and I'm saying to myself, it's so far gone. And I mean, this is how I am, right? Right. Every time I see this, right, you got the family. They'll get out there. We want justice. They stand in front of the courthouse. And I'm like, oh, Lord. You know, I know how this is going to end.
And they get the settlement check, and we never see.
Yeah, it's the ghetto lottery. The ghetto lottery. The ghetto lottery. They get that settle. And so therefore, why am I going to put myself on the line for people who are just looking for that settlement check?
Right.
It's like you ain't tell me your son or whatever's life didn't mean anything. Y'all just want some money. You know what I'm saying? Look at Trayvon Martin's mother. You know what I'm saying? That was just a disgrace. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm saying to myself, I don't know where this ends. You know what I'm saying? Where this ends and everything like that. All I'm saying is this: that all that does is Ferguson, all these things gave me the ammunition I always needed to say, it's time for us to part ways. It's time for a divorce. It's time for us to have a nation of our own. It's time to raise the idea of no more Marshall Plan, no more gimmicks, no more anything like that. Now it's time for us to sit down with the world bodies of government. The people don't want to recognize our plight and our thing. First of all, we have to get more black men to say, yes, it's time for us to have a nation. And matter of fact, if you don't understand something, a nationalist movement will force them to the table on domestic issues. You know what I'm
saying? And that's the thing. So it's deliberately done that we all don't come together on the same agenda. You got some, they want to be liberals, some want to be dusty feminists, some want to be male dusty feminists. Then you got the free thinking dusty conservatives. It's just, yeah.
A nationalist movement, this is what a nationalist movement will do. The nationalist movement will raise the stakes. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, we are going to be triumphant in the end. I know that. You know what I'm saying? Because first of all, every time what's it going to do is expose everybody. If you don't really have a gimmick, like in this Marshall Plan, I would love to know what this Marshall Plan is.
The caucus, the Black Caucus.
Yeah, no, it's called the Congressional Black Caucus. Carcass, remember Carcass?
Okay,
the Congressional Black Caucus. Remember, let's say it again, boys and girls. It's called the Congressional Black Caucus.
Carcass.
You know what I'm saying? The Congressional Black Caucus. You know what I'm saying? A do-nothing organization of 49 members who do nothing but just battle against Republicans, everything, because they know you are stupid. They know they have no plans. John Conyers has been at Congress before I was born. My mother was a teenager when John Conyers was first elected in 1964. He's lived a good life. His kids went to college, everything on those salaries, you know? And his whole thing is reparations, which he knows he's never going to see. But that's what he keeps relevant. And look at Detroit under his watch. Black Detroit under his watch, and everything has gotten worse. You know something? When you see white congressmen, one thing I used to always admire about conservatives and everything, they bring home the bacon to the districts. Right. You know, ever notice that? But they always represent districts that are sort of well-to-do, everything. Why is it that every time you have a black well-to-do district, they have no political voice? Can you show me anywhere where you have an affluent black area in America and it's like they have a congressman, whatever like that represents them and everything? Am I missing something?
I can't.
That's to say, I was hoping you was going to tell me, yeah, you know.
I can't.
So in other words, the affluent black people are completely disappeared. The affluent black communities are more in bondage than the poor black communities. Because at least the poor black communities live in majority districts where they got a congressman they can vent at every once in a while. Right. The affluent black communities have no political say-so on a federal level. You know what I'm saying? None. So all these people, we're gonna do it. We could do it right here. Facebook Negroes, Instagram scammers, and what did Hold Up say? Facebook Negroes, Facebook Indians. We could do it right here, Negroes, Captain America Negroes, all these other Captain American Negroes. All these we could do it right here and everything. You don't have no political power.
Here we go, Kala. Here's a new one. See, brother, we really from Turtle Island, and we the original indigenous people from Turtle Island, and the slave trade was told in reverse. It was
that's what I'm saying. And also, I heard another one I heard the other day, right? Oh, I'm battling with this island. Because I'm battling this one chick on Facebook, on YouTube, right? She's the one that had the video. That's the one. She goes, let it be known, African American ain't African. Now she looks like Wesley Snipes with a wig on. You know what I'm saying?
Passenger 57 Wesley or New Jack City?
Passenger 57 Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
She looks like Wesley Snipes with a wig on. Talking about she ain't African.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And then now that somebody on her page threatened me, today. Threatened me. I was like, no, she looks 100% African. She ain't no African. What is she?
Listen, these natives are violent.
They're violently. I don't want to be. I'm like, okay, all right, you can be Native American. Okay, all right. I back off. Be what you want to be.
They worse than the Hebrews.
Yeah, the Hebrews will kill you. Don't be on the back alley and whatever. Crack a joke about it. They'll slit your throat, man. These people are crazy. These people. This is what I'm talking about. America is making people mentally ill. You know what I'm saying? We're breaking down. You know what I'm saying? Negroes are crazy. They say, saying that nigga's crazy. These niggas are crazy.
It's like happened in reverse.
and not only that, they said Columbus described copper-skinned people. Yeah, copper-skinned, nigga. I mean, like Indian color and everything, long hair. Matter of fact, if he described Africans, why did he name the New World Africa? Why did he call India? I was in India.
Right. Right.
I didn't know India was Africa. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So these Negroes are just unbelievable. They want to get out of Africa being so bad. You know what I'm saying? Right. They want to get out of Africa. They want to get out of Africa free card.
Yeah. We was the Moes, the Asiatic Hebrew Moes.
Hebrews.
From
Nuwapian, anything but a friggin' African American slave descendant somewhere between the Senegambia region and Angola in the Congo. You know what I'm saying? That's where you come from. No more, no less. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say it's time for us to reclaim what's owed to us.
Right.
We are owed territory in that land, and we are allowed to build infrastructure because we know we have the mindset to really build Africa. You know what I'm saying? The only group of people capable of building a nation really are African Americans. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And then it's going to segue into our video.
Right.
Let's talk about that. This is after 127 years. Liberia was on its way to industrialization under the True Whig Party and the American Liberians, African American descendants. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to talk.
Guys, can we get the likes up, please? Please hit the like button. Please share. As far as the video, we got about 30 more minutes. You want me to just play the whole video, or you want to
play the whole video? We're not going to watch the whole thing. We're going to watch the whole thing.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me go ahead. Give me 1 second. This is the wealth of Liberia, and so this is Liberia under American rule. Let's take a look at it.
1974.
1974. Okay. All right, hold on one second.
On December the 11th, 1822, a group of settlers ended their long voyage across the Atlantic Ocean, landing on a small island at the mouth of the Mesurada River, which they named Providence Island, secured with part of the mainland by treaty with 6 tribal kings. Crossing to the mainland, the settlers thrived and created a settlement that would become the city of Monrovia. Many such communities grew up, and the territory expanded until 25 years later, representatives from each of these communities came together at a constitutional convention, and on July the 26th, 1847, signed a Declaration of Independence, creating the free, sovereign, and independent nation of Liberia. That was 127 years ago. Today, businessmen and investors from all parts of the world have discovered the commercial and industrial potential that is the wealth of Liberia, with a government firmly committed to an open door policy and the principles and practice of free enterprise. Monrovia, capital city of Liberia.
Now, real quick, Kala, can you give the backdrop a little bit? Now we're looking at Liberia under American rule.
Yeah, look how beautiful the cities are. That's Broad Street. That's Broad Street. That's the E.J. Roy building in the background, and you'll see. Look at even the cars. Look how beautiful the streets of Monrovia. But people at the time, where most third world countries were dirt roads, people defecating the street, and everything. Look how clean this city is. Looks like a modern American city. This idea that black people can't do nothing, Liberia was a failure, was a lie. You know what I'm saying? To make us give up on the idea of that we should have a nation, we could build a nation of our own. You know what I'm saying? And they did this with very little resources and everything. You know, go ahead, finish.
History reflected in a graceful cultural heritage, but a city as modern as today. The country having developed a fine balance between traditional African values and the modern way of life.
That's the Centennial Building.
Steeped in the tradition of Liberia's rich history. Buildings reflecting the country's promise.
The Masonic Temple.
The imposing executive mansion.
Executive Mansion.
President William R. Tollett.
Congress.
Buildings that reflect the civic dignity of the city, its commerce and industry.
E.J. Roy Building. Beautiful building. Temple.
For the well-being of its people, the J.F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital, one of the finest in West Africa. Overlooking the city is the renowned Ducor Intercontinental Hotel, with a welcome for the visitor, one of the many fine hotels in Monrovia. Looking out across the Atlantic Ocean, the Ducor Intercontinental also looks out to one of the islands first sighted by those early settlers 150 years ago, Bushrod Island. Today, Bushrod Island contains one of Liberia's many industrial estates, with a diversity of industry catering for much of the country's needs and providing exports, adding to Liberia's healthy balance, as with this soap factory. With an ever-expanding building and construction program, cement is essential, and this large cement works is situated conveniently close to Monrovia City. Serving the building industry too is a window and sun louver factory established by the Mesurado group of companies, an entirely Liberian-owned enterprise providing employment for many hundreds of Liberians. Another is a paint factory that's seen even further savings in foreign exchange by having its own can manufacturing plant. Supplying all types of animal and chicken feed, the Liberian...
Okay, so question, Kala. So the objection to this would be well, the Americas had the indigenous population in slavery. They were enslaved during all this.
Yeah, see, they don't understand the definition of slavery. People work. In other words, basically, I hate when people say when they got to go to get up to work 2 jobs. I'm a slave. No, you're not a slave because you choose to work. You know what I'm saying? You can stay home and starve. You know what I'm saying? But nobody's putting you in bondage. You choose to work. You know what I'm saying? We use it's a disservice, disrespect to our ancestors when people throw that word slavery around so loosely. You know what I'm saying? It's all basically designed to discredit the American Liberians and their success.
And a grain and wheat milling plant near Buchanan supplies a domestic demand. The Liberian Development Corporation stimulates industrial investment and the development of existing enterprises, assisting investors to identify investment opportunities, taking advantage of the country's resources and markets.
Its own oil refinery, only oil refinery in West Africa.
Tobacco is one of Liberia's developing industries, and utilizing the country's own tobacco crop, a cigarette factory produces brands blended to local tastes.
Now, watch this about the rice. Let's talk about the rice.
Liberia offers the investor security, a low level of private and corporate taxation, and a balance of trade that has been favorable for 20 years. To encourage young farmers in this fast-developing industry, a tobacco experimental farm has been set up, looking
Those
into
all indigenous Liberians.
tobacco for Liberia's ideal soil and climatic conditions, and teaching farmers to take every advantage of this valuable addition to the country's industry. President William R. Talbot is intensely interested in the youth of his country, but young and old alike are completely involved in the future of their country through self-help programs instituted by the president, when he himself created rally projects to undertake the construction of schools and hospitals and roads linking outlying districts, financed with funds raised by the people themselves without seeking outside aid. Rally time, a complete involvement of the people in their country. President Talbot himself also instituted a program of rehousing families formerly living in overcrowded areas. And on new housing estates such as Partnersville and another named after the assassinated leader of the Guinea-Bissau liberation movement, Amilcar Cabral, families can be raised in pleasant, healthy surroundings, preparing for their inheritance, which is the wealth of Liberia.
They don't like them being oppressed to me.
Of the younger generation in the future of his country, President Talbot refers to the youth of Liberia as his precious jewels. And here at the University of Liberia, these young people are able to acquire the higher learning required of them if they are to take the fullest advantage of the foundations laid down for them by today's leaders. With the importance of agriculture, the University of Liberia has established a College of Agriculture and Forestry, which, in addition to its academic importance, also serves as a major agricultural research center. The Forest Products Research Laboratory has a well-established nursery growing more than 20 different tree species to determine their suitability for large-scale commercial production. The Agricultural Extension Training Center of the college offers training from simple farming methods and management to crop physiology. Students are taught the importance of meteorology in good crop management. Animal husbandry is also of major importance, many of the country's cattle being supplied to a large meat packing plant to meet the increasing demand for frozen meat products. Oil palms grow profusely in Liberia, providing a cash crop income for smallholders and cooperatives, and students receive the benefit of research into this valuable crop. Palm kernels are crushed at modern oil mills, like this operated by the Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation, located near the port of Monrovia, where processed oil is stored to facilitate easy onboard loading. The Liberian Produce Marketing Corporation, a joint venture of the Liberian government and the East Asiatic Company of Denmark, buys much of Liberia's palm oil, coffee, and cocoa, maintaining a huge storage complex within the free port of Monrovia for shipment to all parts of the world. And in addition to direct buying and overseas sales, has vast areas of its own under cultivation, supplying the corporation's own nurseries. President Lambert and his administration, aware of the great economic potential of the country's agriculture, has classified agriculture as the #1 priority in the National Development Program, which is committed to making the country self-sufficient in rice, the food of the population. Under this program, and with the ideal climate of northern Liberia, thousands of acres have been put under cultivation, producing upland and swamp rice for sale to the domestic market. Irrigation schemes have been constructed under expert guidance, and high-grade rice will soon be available to meet the demands of the country at reasonable cost. The Foya Agricultural Development Project, testimony to a far-sighted administration. Further to the south are the famous rubber plantations of Liberia. Cultivated by smallholders and large estate owners alike, Liberia is one of the world's most important suppliers of natural rubber. From the plantation, rubber is processed into either latex or crepe form and transported for shipment from the ports of Monrovia, Greenville, or Harper. Rubber, the wealth of Liberia. Timber, yet another source of Liberia's wealth. Much of Liberia is covered with high forests containing more than 100 varieties of trees, offering investment possibilities in the wealth of these vast reserves of high-quality timber. From concessions in the interior, logs are transported for shipment to all parts of the world from the ports of Buchanan or Monrovia.
Right now, there are no African shipping fleets in West Africa, and its fish is being raped. The fishing grounds are being raped by the Chinese, Thai, and everybody else.
Right.
But we're the bad guys from America.
Yeah. The black, the America was Thanos.
Yeah, America Liberians were Thanos.
Yeah, they were Thanos. Yeah.
Attracting no customs tariffs whatsoever, thereby cutting costs to the shippers of goods in transit.
The only free port in West Africa.
Yeah, Lebanese, Chinese, whites, everybody runs wild in Africa, but the black American will be an issue, the real issue if he ever comes back to America, if he ever comes back to Africa.
So are they saying that with glee? Or are they saying that with pity?
I don't know.
Gateway to West Africa.
But we're gonna come back whether they like it or not. So
yeah.
Also based on the port of
Monrovia. Who does Red Jewel keep calling me pompous?
Beats in West Africa.
My fan club, man.
And an important part of the country's economy.
Well, this is very important. Look at this. The shipping. This is very important part of this. But this is Stephen Tolbert. This is made a year before he was killed in a mysterious plane crash. He was supposed to be Africa's first billionaire.
Reaching the fishing grounds, the nets are put out for the haul. and the fleet settles down for the trawl, each trawl taking about 4 hours. Day and night, every 4 hours, the catch is hauled in. Wealth from the land, wealth from the sea. And at Meserado's own processing plant, each catch is cleaned and sorted within minutes of landing to be packed and frozen. Some of the finest shrimp in the world.
Hey, Cal, I was gonna say, is there anything you want me to fast forward to, or you want to finish another video?
Well, after the scene,
okay,
they're gonna show the resort, and that's it.
Okay.
And critical consumer is one of Liberia's biggest customers.
Look how big those shrimps are.
Yeah. Grim.
Japan was the biggest customer.
Look at that lobster steak situation. Oh,
there's more to see in Liberia.
Oh, we were on our way, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me we can't do it again.
Fishing second to none, and hotels and restaurants offering a gourmet's delight with an international cuisine.
That's Caesar's Beach.
Liberia's natural coastline caters for the children too. Every beach having a quiet, peaceful lagoon right behind the more boisterous sea, where children can swim and play in perfect safety. And where Dad can put his feet up without...
That's Cooper's Beach.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Cooper's family private beach.
Mm-hmm.
Cooper's, Coles Beach, Sugar Beach offer weekend barbecues and beach chalets for a longer stay. And there's always plenty of local interest.
Somebody says White Folks Beach. No, those are just friggin' tourists coming there. It's friggin' black. White people didn't own anything in Liberia. So shut that crap up. You know what I'm saying?
Right from Monrovia is the picturesque town of Robertsport, like Roberts Field, named after Liberia's first president. Robertsport, with a charm and culture all its own, with placid Lake Piso on one side and the Atlantic Ocean on the other, with a luxurious hotel overlooking the ocean and a favorite spot for out-of-towners. Safe for the children, ideal for water skiers or just lazing in the sun. More than 300 miles of palm-lined golden sands make this a tourist paradise.
All right, that's about it, you know.
Okay, cool. All right, cool.
But you get the gist of what I'm talking about, you know?
Absolutely.
Now, with us doing the show right here, what's the narrative on Liberia? Always been. It's been a complete failure.
Black Americans messing up. Black Americans, you can't.
Now, this look like anything like what Liberia was always portrayed of, you know, over the years. No, it was a complete disaster. You know, it started with the slaves came over there, all this kind of nonsense. Hello.
Yeah, right here.
Okay. So that's it. We are more than capable of building a nation. And like I said, what I like to do one day is go into real good. I know we don't have the time tonight.
Yeah.
But I was going to go into real detail, step by step, how it can be done.
That'd be the next show, or tribalism is the new coonery. You know, like they say, black tribalism is the new coonery. We got it.
We're gonna do it like that. We can do both of them at the same time.
That's fine. Okay.
I can segue into that. I know you're tired.
Dude, I can't. So when I have the split screen on, I can't see what's in the chat. So who's ZL? I have mods in the chat room. I think I do. Or all the mods gone. Who's ZL Lau?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, all right. Whatever. But go ahead.
Okay. What I was saying was basically is yes, we can. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we can build a nation. But the whole thing is this: when we say nation, we mean nation within a nation. Like, in other words, basically, we're a people, a nation. That's our spirit. But I believe in a host country being the thing. That means when people say, "Oh no, you're not really gonna get no land," okay, but I'll settle for a homeland or an enclave, whatever. In the modern world, right here, some cities are more powerful than most countries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? New York City probably generates more than most countries in the world. Look at New York City is probably more powerful than most states in America.
Right.
So I don't care about not having a thing. New York City is still powerful. I don't mind. If you're with a host African nation, you know what I'm saying, and you're going to be something like a Dubai with the OAE, you think people in Dubai really care that they're part of the OAE? No. They're still doing their thing in Dubai. You know what I'm saying? They got laws. It's a mutual benefit situation. And I think that is the model for the future. Right now, Mr. Rosenthal was talking to me about all over Africa, they're planning to build a thing called smart cities.
Right.
Let me say this right here. So to give people something to think about. Smart cities are almost like turnkey. You know what I'm saying? When you build a smart city, you already got people who build industrial zones. All those things are all together. They all work in sync. You know what I'm saying? Industrial zones, sewer grids, all the stuff like that already comes like in a pre-packaged almost. You know what I'm saying? So you can build a city nowadays with almost nothing. Just all you need is a blank piece of land. You know what I'm saying? The industrial zone, the commercial zone, the recreational zone right here, the financial district right here, the medical district right here, the transportation hub, the airport right here, the seaport right here. Everything all in a few square kilometers and everything like that, and duplicate that. So the bottom line is, it ain't like it was 100 years ago where it took 100 years to build a city. Now people are building cities within 5 years. The new cities being built in Taiwan, Thailand, Korea, that are Asian fusion cities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got in Singapore, you got large numbers of Asians that are highly developed in banking, business, and finance and everything. You may be a Singaporean, but you are basically open up your office across the river thing in Malaysia. You know what I'm saying? Why Asians have risen to that level where they're top? I don't expect the layman to the layman are always going to be like, okay, a little rough around the edge. But the intelligentsia of each group of people ought to be able to look at or peer out. Or it's like if two people standing on a mountain, right? The person on the bottom is not going to see what you see if you're standing on top. But the person standing on the top of another hill, you guys should be able to see eye to eye. You see what I see what you see. You're both looking down. Where's our so-called people that's on top in each group of people? Where's our elite Nigerians? Where's our elite Ugandans? Where's our elite Botswanans? I know they're there. But there has never been a place where we could practice that African, Pan-African fusion culture, right? Which is the model. That's how Europe was built. Do you know when you talk about the Marie Antoinette and all these people, the Habsburgs, you study history of Europe, the aristocrats in Europe intermarried with each other throughout the Habsburg Empire. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Later it became French and English and everything like that, and Prince Charles of Spain and stuff like that. But the aristocrats always traded with each other, always knew each other, and always stuff like that. The average layman in these parts were more susceptible to nationalism and regionalism and everything. But the aristocrats knew each other for hundreds of years. They married with each other, And like I said, then when it came down to parting ways and England becoming England, and you had the war, the Battle of Hastings and stuff like that, where England separated from from Normandy in the north and everything. They became a nation. They started going towards national. But for the most part, even after that, you still had aristocrats that still married with each other and stuff like that, made treaties and everything like that. Where is that in the black race? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Where's that in the black race where you'll have a Kenyan marry a Nigerian and or have families, blood ties and everything, solidified blood ties? Do you know how many people are that got blood ties with how many people in Guinea-Bissau and different countries in Angola that got blood ties with Portuguese? They probably I got Portuguese blood, this and the other thing. Aristocrats, kings Portuguese would marry African ladies, right, for business purposes. Same through the Dutch. You know, people don't know that history. The Dutch and the English, not so much English, but the Dutch and the Portuguese married into African society, and the French. You know, that was to solidify business dealings. And so a lot of the aristocrats in West Africa have ties to the Royal Dutch and everything like that. That's why the slave trade was so successful. You know, people don't know that history. But what we don't have is a history, like in Liberia. I did in my book. When they say my novel's coming, you ordered the novel? You ordered my novel?
You know what? I ordered it Saturday. It should be here in the next couple of days.
Okay, check this out. One of the stories in the book, I don't give it away, is the marriage between Prince Massaquoi, who was actually a real person.
After this, we gotta close out after this.
Okay, Prince Massaquoi married one of the girls from the settler, the American Liberian class, and their marriage was seen as like a bridge between the Vi tribe and the American Liberians. You're gonna enjoy the book. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're gonna enjoy the book. You know, it's about that. You know, some of the aristocrats of the indigenous people and the American Liberians were marrying with each other and stuff like that to build a unified society. You know what I'm saying? So so you're gonna like the book, but we need more of that. You know, this stupid tribalism crap has got to go. Everything. So I know. Okay, my novel is called Journey to the Promised Land: Voyage of the Bark Azor. It's about the Liberian Exodus of 1878 from Charleston, South Carolina to Liberia, based on a true story. It was the biggest event in African American history. It was bigger than the Million Man March. It was bigger than the March on Washington. But it was a history that was completely forgotten, you know, in history until I brought it back to life in my novel. Okay? Yeah. So read that book on Amazon. You can get that on Amazon. Join us at the BAIO. And BAIO is BAIO Africstan, the number 5.ning.com. You can join us at the BAIO, our social network. Please join us. And you can look at my blog at colonation.blogspot.com. That's my blog. You can hit me up on Facebook. I can't take your friend request because I'm on Facebook suspension. You know, some traders reported me on something I said, whatever. But thanks for listening to the show tonight. You know, thanks, Dinus, for having me.
Oh man, anytime. So we got to come back on Saturday night too.
Saturday night, we'll be back on Saturday night with a Dinus. I hope you can stay up Saturday night because I want to.
Okay. I mean, can we get started like at 7 o'clock?
7. I see. The thing is that when I'm out, those times Saturday. See, when I come home at like 9 o'clock, I'm in. I'm sitting back and relaxing. You know, I'm usually out with, you know, doing what I'm doing, and I don't really get home till like around 9 o'clock. You know.
Okay, that's cool. Okay.
That's just me. I'm just like I'm never really home that early and everything like that. You know. So, but I'm gonna try to work on it.
We'll make it happen. I guess we'll do a 2.5 hour situation.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you can sit back and let me talk, man. You can sit back and let me talk, man. You can sit back and just be chilling, yeah, because I'll do all the work.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Right. Okay, saying, yeah, I got so much material I want to cover, you know, and so I just gave a little preview tonight, but I'm gonna really give it to you tomorrow. Saturday night, man. We're gonna really burn this line up, you know. So, you know,
But everybody, thank you again for joining us. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also go to Africa Personified on those same platforms. Make sure you go to africapersonified.africa. Go to searchforhuru.com, DynasAmir.com, and go to amazon.com. Search your name, Dynasty Amir. Please buy a book. I will be back on sometime tomorrow. So again, everybody, thank you so much. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.